My friend's son, Jed, was one of 8 valedictorians of his senior class at his high school, and each valedictorian was asked to write a speech about a life lesson learned. So Jed ended up at his high school Bible study that week, and he was inspired by the text that they read there, 1 Corinthians 10. He felt like it was God's word for his fellow students, and so he decided that his speech was going to be memorizing 1 Corinthians 10, getting up and reciting it, and saying that God could say it better than he could say it, and that was it. Well, each of the valedictorians had to meet with the superintendent of schools to get approval for their speech. And so when Jed met with the superintendent of schools, she immediately told him that his speech idea was completely inappropriate and he couldn't do it. Jed was flabbergasted. He's like, what about my rights of freedom of speech? What about, my ability to speak whatever I want in this country? And he kind of went home and told his dad. His dad called me and said, what should I do? I said, well, you should support your son. I mean, this is a country where, freedom of speech reigns. But the superintendent was insisting this was a violation of church and state. Couldn't be done at the graduation. Jed thought about it for a while. The news media got a hold of it, started to tell Jed's story, and a lot of people were urging Jed to go up there and say it anyway, to rebel, to do it. And after thinking and praying about it, Jed really felt like he was supposed to obey the authorities that had been put in place above him. So he decided not to give a speech, to write a new speech, and gave that one. Little did anyone know that Jed's actions inspired a fellow valedictorian, happened to be the student council president. This guy went home, ripped up his old speech, got out the book of Ecclesiastes, the book of John, and wrote a new speech based on those 2 books of the Bible, got up and read those, and said, you may be able to silence Jed, but you can't silence me, and you certainly can't silence God. Oh, standing ovation apparently at the graduation. I love the story, and apparently when the superintendent got up to speak, it's kind of funny, there was thunder that was so loud no one could really hear, and my friend turned to his wife and said, God's not happy. I was thinking about this whole thing. Here's a high school guy who just unlikely high school guy. This kid's kind of shy. God just kind of taps with this incredible inspiration, and he goes out to live out his faith, and his actions give someone else the courage to live out theirs. Question for you: how are your actions going to inspire and give someone else the courage to walk in Jesus' way more completely, more fully devoted? How is that going to happen in your life?